This challenge is all about the reporting tools and they can be a little bit fiddly to configure, so let's go through the challenge to see how we do that. So we're looking at cat and dog ownership in the United States. I'm a cat person myself. And we can see the states and the percentage of households with pets and then percentage with cats and dogs. So we only want the top 10 for our bar chart, so we sort them in descending order by their percentage of household pets, use a sample tool to get the first 10, and then it comes the interactive chart tool. So we're going to want to have 3 layers because we want to have one layer for the bar, which is the percentage of households with pets, and then we want the dog owners and the cat owners to be separate layers. So adding this as bars, having the location on the x-axis, the percentage of households with pets on the y-axis, and then the other two we add as scatters. And again, location on the x-axis, percentage of dog owners on the y, or percentage of cat owners on the y-axis. And we just rename that so it looks nice in our legend as well. The bits of styling that we want to do are found in the layer section. So I kept my bars as blue. I thought that looked nice. And then we can choose what color we want our points to be. For example, for our dog owners, I left that as orange. You can choose the symbol. I chose to have some crosses. Why not? I gave my cats a star shape and I put a border on it because otherwise without the border you couldn't really see. If I just do that, you can't see it in the legend so well, so I just had a little border around it. You can choose whatever shapes you want, and then to do some resizing, then that's just in the chart option, and then you can choose it by inches or by pixels to just change the sizing a little bit more to reflect how they have it in the report in the output. Now we can move on to the thematic map. So because we need the area of each state in our calculations, then just use a spatial info tool to get out the area in square miles. I assumed they'd be working with miles since it's US data and they use miles in the US, so we went with square miles for that. Joined this together on our states, and then the only fields we actually need are the state, the dog population, the cat population, the square mile area, and the spatial objects. So leave all the other fields behind, get our calculation for our dog population plus our cat population, multiply that by 1,000 and divide it by the square miles. And make sure we change the data type to a double so that we can use it as our thematic field. And then it's time to use the report map tool. And this is probably where I spent the most time in this challenge, trying to fiddle around, get it to be exactly how I want it. I think I reduced the height a little bit from the default, just because I was worried about it fitting on the page, basically. So in our data tab at the top here, then we need to come into our number 1 connection, and we need to set our thematic field to be PD, our pet density. Our spatial field we have as a spatial object. I think that's by default, it selects that. And then we can come into the layers, add in our polygons layer, and that's what pops up here. I've just renamed the number 1 to PD. It's showing in the legend, it's zooming to that layer, it's all good. And then our theme, then we're going to click there, and we're choosing to tile it by a smart tile method. So that's, if you're familiar with the tile tool, that's just working out how it's going to bucket things up. We're using a color method of ramp, and we're starting at blue and we're ending at a bit of a pinky color. That's as close as I could get it to match to their solution, but naturally you don't have to use their colors at all. You could choose anything there. And then in our legend tab, then I've reduced the font size of the legend, again to do with getting it to fit in different places, and I've separated it out as different fields because we want it to be overlaid here. And that gives us a clue as to what the next tool will be. It is the overlay tool, and so we want it to be down here in the bottom right corner, and we want there to be a little bit of padding. So if I just show you what that's looking like, then it might be overlapping a little bit. I could have fiddled around more to get that to not overlap so much, but I could just reduce the font size down. So I'll do that. Let's just reduce the font size down a little bit more and see if that works. So just run that through, and we can see that still not really worked. let me try reducing the size of the sort of text box. So the icon height and the icon width, see if that helps, see if that works. But yeah, that's basically the process of how you kind of get these things to work. It's just by fiddling around, getting them smaller, trying different things out. It hasn't quite worked exactly how we want it to, but with more time I could probably get that sorted a bit more, but let's not worry about that for now. So the map has a little header on it, so I'm going to use the report text tool to add pet density per state for attaching it to the overlay field, and then I'm just unioning that together, manually configuring to make sure my chart and my overlay go together, and using a layout tool to combine those vertically so that we get, if I look here, then that's what we'd have, this layout. So they're just stuck together now, those two charts. The report header is just the cat and dog ownership in the United States. We don't want a date, we don't want an image. And if I just show you that as well, then that's how that looks. I mean, it would be spread out as much as I spread out the browse window. But when I use the render tool now, I just need to make sure I've ticked the header, said that I want it to show on the first page. That's definitely important. And let's see what that is looking like. So if I click on that render output, then annoyingly it opens in Internet Explorer, and you can you can't really see the header there. So let me just pretend that I'm printing it. There you go, the header is there, and both my charts are on one page. So hopefully that was useful, the sort of steps you need to take, reassuring you that yes, it is a bit fiddly, but in theory, if you were using these tools frequently in your day job, you would get used to the fiddliness of them. It's not really tools that I use every day, which is why I have to do so much trial and error. So hopefully that was useful, and thank you for watching.